I'm going to hit the highlight first and answer the question we've been getting quite a bit of inbound questions about. This is with respect to the SEC Regulation S-P. The answer is yes. In the event of an incident involving sensitive client data, we indeed commit to notifying you within 72 hours should that ever happen. In fact, our own internal policies, going back years now, they actually compel us to do that within 48 hours. So even before this regulation came out, our commitment to you had already been 48 hours, which is better than the 72 hours the SEC is requiring. So you're good on that requirement. All right, so just background on what the heck I'm talking about. Regulation S-P, coming from the SEC, it came out in the year 2000. I was surprised to see that. And so, the internet was just a baby back then. And Regulation SP, it covers the sharing of non-public information with third parties. And of course, the year 2000 is well before, we knew what hackers were back then, but it's well before we as a profession, the financial advisory profession, put so much onto the cloud. Like most of the tech stack is now cloud-based systems like Holistiplan. So I think in recognition of that, in May of 2024, the SEC updated that guidance, those regulations, and it just goes way deeper. It goes way deeper on the written procedures and policies that you, the financial advisor, are meant to have, the due diligence you're meant to do with respect to keeping client data, sensitive client data, secure. And one of the sections is about service providers like Holistiplan who have non-public personal information about your clients. And so the way it works is, as far as I can tell, they've not really taken the step yet of regulating software companies like us directly yet, but they do require advisors to have policies and procedures where you are doing due diligence and you are ensuring that your service providers are keeping your client data secure. One of the pieces of this, or one of the key provisions that people have latched onto, is this requirement that you, in turn, ask your service providers to notify you within 72 hours of any sort of incident regarding sensitive information, okay, and a data breach or something like that. 72 hours is what the rule says. And again, our own policies have always said 48 hours, so you're good with us. The regulation actually says that larger entities, which they define, like if you're an RIA, I think they define it as 1.5 billion assets under management. If you're a larger entity, you're actually required December 3rd, 2025 to adhere to these new regulations or these updated regulations. If you're a small, quote unquote, smaller entity, you have till June 3rd, 2026. I think that's why we've been getting a lot of inbound. The SEC said actually 23% they estimate of RIAs are of this larger firm classification. But so that's why we're getting a bunch of emails about it. I'm sure we'll get a whole bunch more in June of 2026 when the rest of the population has to adhere to this rule as well. It's good for everyone to do it now. And again, we're good, 48 hours already. Of course, our goal is to avoid such an incident entirely. So that's where we invest heavily. We have full-time members of our team. Their whole job is data security, infrastructure, keeping client data safe. We have been vetted by the compliance departments of the largest RIAs out there, the largest broker-dealers out there. We've gone through the ringer with all of them. And I'd say most importantly, a number of us within Holistiplan, we are or were financial advisors just like you, and we totally understand how serious you, the profession, needs to take data security. And we understand tax information is super sensitive information. And so from the very start, that's always been part of our DNA. If you want to go deeper on, or for your own record keeping purposes, if you want to go deeper on our security policies, things like that, go to trust.holistiplan.com. I've got it up on screen here. You'll be able to see some of our some policy type things, controls we have in place. We do have some resources you can download. Now, you don't want to just show the whole world what you're doing about data security. that kind of gives away some of what you're doing. So you'll notice that some of these documents are locked down. Now you can request access to them if your compliance department requires it. There's a whole process to go through. We will ask you to sign an NDA, but then yes, you can get access to some of these documents that are available on the left-hand side here. But yeah, that's trust.holistiplan.com. And again, we take this stuff super seriously. We have to. Like I said, it's in our DNA. It's the right thing to do, but also, I mean, our business depends on us keeping this data safe. So take a look at that. Again, we're good. 72 hours is longer than what our own policies require us to do, which is to notify you within 48 hours in the event of any sort of incident. And we're doing everything we can to avoid an incident ever happening. All right, thank you.